like moments before we start recording, the news comes down that the New York Jets have activated Aaron Rodgers' 21-day practice window. What do you think it means?
I mean, let's leave the door open here. He was practicing. He was throwing the ball around in the cold weather at Florham Park, and Saleh was excited to announce it. I still don't know if he plays in a game, but I think the mere fact that he's even at practice, if you're looking for a little, what's the word? I don't even know. It's a major accomplishment, right? And I don't know if he looks at it that way or if it's got to be in live game action, but to even get back on the field in the amount of time that he's doing this, he's already defied science and he's already defied human nature and what he and Elatrosh have been able to do. And then, of course, he gets all the credit for rehab and getting back. But whatever the surgery was, I'm not a doctor. I can't get into the actual details. Someone has explained it to me 20 times. I've had 20 different medical. It's not doing the viewers any service, me trying to explain. We can have on several doctors to do it. Whatever it was done, it was revolutionary. And he's out there throwing. But doing it in practice without getting hit and without having any defensive linemen breathing down his neck is a little different than doing it in live action.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice. Obviously, Rodgers has become famous for doing his weekly appearances with Pat McAfee. And he was very, very sure to say, like, I got to be able to take care of myself. Like, I actually have to be able to kind of evade pressure and do stuff besides just like stand in the pocket and throw. And that's what. So, I mean, it's 21 days to evaluate. There's still a lot of season left. I wonder if 21 days is enough to get to that point, because once that window's up, you have to make a decision of like, does he go back to IR or is he on the active roster? We just saw the Vikings do that with Justin Jefferson. I mean, I don't think anybody knows the answer to that right now, but I feel like they carry that all the way up until decision day, right?
Yeah, they will. And even him being there, maybe it's a lift, right? Like they haven't written their season off. They're 4-7. It looks like it's done. That it looked like it died on Amazon's Black Friday day in the Meadowlands, but they still have a winnable game against Atlanta this week. They've got Houston. They still play division opponents left on the schedule, including the Patriots. They've got the Commanders.
Got Miami after Houston, yeah.
I mean, these are winnable games. So to them, it's like, we're not done yet. If they're out of contention, does he come back? The answer still might be yes, based on his own individual desires to get out there. I just don't know if it's smart to have now. Here's one thing that someone said to me. All right, so say he does go back out there and God forbid he hurts himself. They got the whole offseason to rehab. He just did it in 3 months.
Right.
We've already shown that he can do it and get back on the field. I think even today, us talking about Aaron Rodgers being on a practice field and legitimately being out there, not as some ceremonial thing or some rah-rah guy, with crutches on the sideline, giving his team a pep talk, being there, being active, and throwing a football, it's a huge deal. And I would think that the morale and the energy and maybe even the glimmer of hope that he might return could lift this team at least to playing a little better than they did on Friday.
I mean, if you go back to like week 2 and tell me that this was going to happen, even knowing that practice is a long step from playing in a game, like I don't know that I would have believed it, or I certainly would have been really blown away. So it's clearly an amazing story, but I want to ask you this, and my purpose behind asking this is I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot or like call for anybody's jobs, but I'm legitimately curious about the vibes in New York, because it's really cool that Rodgers is coming back, but the season feels like it's on life support. And I'm just curious, like with all the anticipation there and all the excitement, like, is this a situation with Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh where it's like, well, shit happens. Like sometimes you lose your quarterback on the first night of the season, or like, is there a little more urgency to try to save this thing than that?
Yeah, I think when you have, it's not only their quarterback, when you have like the 11th, 12th, 14th and 15th offensive linemen that you planned on starting, the offensive line's in tatters. The quarterback is now down to their third quarterback with Boyle. I don't think they ever expected the season to go like this injury wise. The amount of guys, I mean, Vera Tucker was playing like an all pro before he got hurt. He hasn't played. Becton ends up, getting hurt a little bit in these games, and he's going to tough it out. And that's great to see, but like, they're not at full strength. Dwayne Brown has been out of the lineup. So you lose Rodgers, but it's not just been Rodgers. They've lost so many guys. They lost, they lost Sauce and Reed to concussions earlier this season in crucial moments. So to me, I don't think they would ever have expected this. Now, are their jobs in jeopardy? I don't know. I think a lot of that has to do with how these next few weeks go. I would imagine Salah's job is not in jeopardy considering how this thing went, but everything I'm hearing is that let's wait and see before we make any declarative statements, whether it be Rodgers, whether it be the coaching staff, or whether it be the GM. The season's not done yet.
There's a pretty huge difference between just waving the flag with 6 weeks to play or fighting all the way to the end. So yeah, it's something worth watching. Meanwhile, the other big
I will say this, and this is in defense of kind of a lot of the New York media and a lot of the fans coming in, and this might get clipped off, and if it does, fine. If you look at all these quarterbacks who have these huge contracts, and Rodgers is one of them, very few of those contracts that have like 25, 26 have backups that are making 7, 8, 9, 10. There might not be any of them. So, everyone's crushing the Jets for not having a veteran backup behind Rodgers. If any of these quarterbacks could, Burrow's backup is Jake Browning. Deshaun Watson's backup is Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Like, it just happened that Zach and the offensive line were in tatters by the end. It didn't work out. But I don't know if I'd pin that on Joe Douglas to not have. A lot of people were like, how come he didn't get Minshew? Or how come he didn't get Brissett? I don't know if I could put that on Joe Douglas. You look around budgetary wise, a lot of these teams, very few of the teams that have these star quarterbacks have backups that are, guys that are making 8, 9, 10 million. It's just so much budget to dedicate to one position.
No, I agree with that. And I honestly, and look, I'm not saying it's fair. I think the thing that screwed the Jets more than anything was Josh Dobbs bouncing between teams and looking like a pretty capable quarterback. And if you're a fan, I can hear you saying surely a guy that can come in and try to save the season is worth a 7th round pick. Like, I think that's where they get into hot water, in my opinion. But at the same time, how often do you really think you're going to catch lightning in a bottle like that? So I'm conflicted about the Jets, because part of me is like, there's more you could have done. Like, you're wasting this defense. But on the other side, like on the same coin, I'm just like, yeah, well, how many teams really have the season go where they want it to when they lose their starting quarterback on the first day? Like, it's just, I was in Dallas for when the Cowboys lost Romo early on, and I was there when they lost Dak midway through the season too. And guess what? It really, really sucks. So,
well, it's like in the first instance when they lose Romo, Dak is this miracle season. The second one, everyone thinks it's going to be Ben DiNucci or Cooper Rush, and guess what? Andy Dalton, right, came in, and it was just like, it's a mess. And I was there another year in Dallas when Matt Castle was starting. And
I was going to say, keep in mind, Dak saved their bacon once, but the year before that, they traded for Matt Castle, and Kellen Moore got some run, and it was a putrid season. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I think I understand it. If you think there's more the Jets could have done, I also understand that losing your starting quarterback 4 snaps into the season is 99% of the time going to be a recipe for disaster.